It's Sunday, and I'm wrapping up the week by summarizing this week's theme. Stocks just entered correction territory. What's your next move? All right, in case you missed any of the episodes, I talked about what a correction is and the important historical lesson here, which is that the vast majority of the time, a correction does not lead to something worse. It just doesn't. So the likelihood is, the probability is that this is not the beginning of the end and the next recession is just around the corner. I mean, it could be, but chances are it's not. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. But I do think that this correction has been very healthy in the sense that it has helped a lot of people unwind their complacency with their investment portfolio. We've had really strong gains pretty consistently over the last 15 plus years. I mean, we've had some blips and dips in there, but in general, we haven't had a big major recession and the accompanying deep, dark, awful, big, bad, scary bear market to go along with that. We haven't had that since 2009 when we came out of the global financial crisis. So it's natural that complacency creeps in, but the fact that the stock market has now entered correction territory does have a lot of people spooked. And I think it should be a wake-up call to rebalance your portfolio. Make sure that you do not have too much in stocks, given your age and stage in life and proximity to retirement, your risk tolerance. That's very important. But also within that, making sure that are you over-concentrated in certain areas? Do you have a lot in some of the riskier pockets of the market that are more susceptible to deeper declines if this correction continues? You want to take a good hard look at your portfolio without going too far in the other direction. Like, we don't want to panic and let the pendulum swing the other way and have a little freak out and abandon our long-term strategy either. We want a Goldilocks scenario. Get rid of the bad, get rid of the risk, that the over concentrations, the worst areas of risk, but maintain a focus on the long-term strategy. And I think if you can do that, you're going to weather any downturn just fine. Yes, we're going to experience a recession at some point. Yes, we're going to have a correction at some point, whether it's this one or in the future, that turns into a bear market. And you want to be well positioned at all times for whenever that will inevitably occur at some point in the future. All right. If you are enjoying this podcast, be sure to subscribe and follow so you never miss an episode. You can leave a review. Your feedback helps me improve the podcast. It also helps new listeners find the show. I really appreciate the comments, positive or negative. I didn't get all positive ones when I talked about Trump a couple weeks ago, but I try not to venture into politics. This is not a political podcast. But it is funny. Sometimes I upset people, and I had a couple upset people when I was talking about Trump, even though I try not to venture too much into politics. This is not a podcast about politics. But regardless, I do appreciate the comments and the feedback. It does really help me to improve and refine things. It also helps new listeners find the show. So if you leave a review, please just make sure it's fair and honest as well. All right. Be sure to share the podcast with a friend or family member who's getting close to retirement. Maybe you know someone who has like a bunch of money in Bitcoin. Maybe they're still looking good. I don't know. Or you have someone who has like an insane amount in like one stock and is just taking a beating. Those are the kinds of people who really need to listen to this week's episode. So if you're interested in learning more about working with me, you can check out my website, truenorthra.com. You can book a free 15-minute call with me. Just click the link in the upper corner of the homepage. I love hearing from listeners. Happy to chat about anything on your mind regarding retirement. No strings attached. All right, tomorrow I'm finally getting to, I think, we'll see. I think I'm finally getting to this one after slotting it in weeks ago. 40 life lessons in 40 years. I just turned 40 this week, a few days ago. I've been thinking a lot about what have I learned? What have I actually learned? I'm not quite at midlife yet, but I'm pretty dang close to it. And I think I've learned a few things along the way. So I want to take the opportunity to share with you some life lessons that I've learned now that I've officially reached almost midlife. I've been scribbling these down. I obviously still have lots more to learn, and I'm humbled more and more every year about all the things I realize I do not know. But I thought it would be a fun way to mark what feels like a really big milestone birthday. 40 feels a lot different than 30 felt, way different than 20. I remember when I turned 10, I thought when I'm 10, when I was like 8 years old, I was like, man, look at those fourth graders. They've got it all figured out, don't they? I was just looking at them, and when I was in second grade, 8 years old, thinking, dang, those fourth graders, look how they walk. They know what's going on. And, of course I get to 10 and I'm like, I don't have a clue. And I still feel like I don't really have a clue. I was talking to the gal who does my hair. She's been doing my hair for 15 years. She's great. I love her. And well, she's in her 50s now, but she's like, 40 was not a great birthday for her, but she says 50, she finally felt like she had started to figure things out. So maybe the next decade I'll start to feel like an adult. No, I do feel like an adult, but I feel like there's so much I don't know. I still feel like there's lots to learn, but I think I've learned a few things, and I'm excited to share what I've learned with you and to mark my milestone birthday. All right. I hope you have a blessed Sunday. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.